I'll keep my comments brief. I will say, of course, I strongly oppose the building of this new jail for reasons that I don't really think I need to repeat. I think they were stated really eloquently here tonight, both from a place in the heart and also from an analysis of the actual evidence. Okay, not just beyond a tiny measurement within the county here, but looking at evidence from around the country. And the fact of the matter is, the evidence is in. We, as been stated before, this country incarcerates more people than any other country in the world. You want to talk about the People's Republic of China, we've got them beat by a 3-to-1 factor. And I will say that this local jail expansion in the midst of an economic crisis, while local social safety net budgets are being slashed, is actually part of a larger picture that we're seeing throughout the country. And I will say, I find it very interesting listening to comments tonight, that essentially the problems brought about by the economic crisis through the lack of jobs in this community, the solution coming from the top is basically to tax one part of our community to death in order to incarcerate and control an already underserved portion of this community. And I would say this is emblematic of problems in this society as a whole, and it's finding its expression locally in the form of this jail expansion. So I'll wrap up my comments on that. Thank you.
Next person.
Good evening, and thank you. I got to sit in on the Criminal Justice Council for the past few months, and I have learned a tremendous amount. I mean, you folks have done a really phenomenal job in bringing information forward and putting it in a form that people can digest. And I think you should consider giving Obama a call and see if you can do the next moderation.
Okay.
I was here at Dutchess in 1970, and that walk was a lot shorter from that D-lot. But anyway, the reason I'm here is I'd like to echo my colleague, Jim, later from town of Poughkeepsie, that this is going to have a pretty substantial impact on the neighborhoods. And I know that people don't believe that, but you need to make sure that that's looked at very, very carefully. I know that the housing now cost is up to $8 million, which is about, I guess, 1/4 of the current budget. So that says you could house out 4 times as many people for the same amount of money, but I realize that's illegal, and we can't do that. I think that we probably do need to get some more beds available, and the special populations are an important part, and I had no idea. I grew up in this town, spent my 60 years here. My grandparents spent about that long on North Hamilton across from the jail. I spent a considerable amount of time on the front porch listening to, maybe some of the songs that came from the cells, or and my grandfather would occasionally go out and suggest that they quiet down. But neighborhood's an important thing. We need to consider that. We need to consider the fact that we do need to bring these people back. And I have a physical solution. A lot of people have been talking, but I like pictures. And I know that we haven't talked about the sheriff, and I'm sure that building is in a horrible state. And I think that probably we should take this as an elephant and bite off a small piece. And maybe that is to take the sheriff's department and find them a new and a good location, and then tear those buildings down and put an addition on. Thank you.
Thank you. that concludes the public comments part of our program tonight. We'd like to thank everyone for coming, for everything that you have shared. As I said earlier, all of your comments will be